Welcome back to the Talkin Chop podcast, brought to you by the folks over at Chief of Staff KC. This week we're joined by two of my favorite young Kansas City leaders, Cody Isabel and Zik Nganga. How you guys doing this week, boys?
Doing well. Thanks for having us on. Doing great. We're doing great.
Appreciate you guys.
So Cody Isabel is the CEO and founder of CBA Neurotechnology, and we'll get into that. Congratulations, by the way, on that. And Zik, you're the founder of the FiredUp KC podcast. Been following you for a while, and you also interned with Cody in your first semester. So kind of excited to hear how all that went and how you guys have been doing. Stoked to have you guys in studio. Thanks for making some time to be with us. But yeah, not only will we get into all that, but we're going to talk over the Chiefs' straight mollywhopping of the Broncos in Denver on Sunday for 10 straight victories against the Broncos. Oh, that is just so sweet.
Feels good.
Yeah, I know, right? So we'll talk about that, some fantasy advice in our Week 8 preview coming up against the Jets this Sunday. But before we jump into all that, we're going to bring you our positions of the week, brought to you by Chief of Staff Kansas City. We're your local trusted talent scouts, and I got this. I stumbled on this, so I'm going to get it right this time. We'll bring you the best accounting and finance, admin, marketing, operations, sales, and HR talent Kansas City has to offer. Lucas, what do you got this week?
All right, so you guys know the deal. We get to work with some great companies. This one, no other than one of the coolest real estate property management companies in town. It's a controller position. Roughly 7 years of experience would be ideal. You're really going to be... What he needs, the gentleman needs, is someone who has the corporate accounting background, can oversee the operational side, but has a true analytical mindset and is able to run the financial analysis side of things. So if you've come from a corporate accounting background and transitioned to an FP&A role, an analyst role of some sort, whether it's business analytics or financial analytics would be preferred, that'd be greatly appreciated. You're going to be working alongside the director of maintenance. So figuring out the cost of margin or the profit margins there, looking at some of the labor efficiencies within their labor force. Those are all going to be big in addition to overseeing that operational side. Budgeting, forecasting, analysis as well, and education and CPA are preferred. Give me a shout if any of those excite you, or if you just want to go over your background and discuss what positions we might have in addition to this one that would work.
Cool. And on the operations side, we got a confidential search, so I can't talk about too much about the company, but it's a high level and lucrative opportunity with a financial services firm out in Overland Park. They're looking for, I wouldn't say director level, but it pays like a director level.
There you go.
But it's an operations position, and they just kind of need someone to help with their operations, day-to-day support of the business. Again, it's a confidential search, so I can't say too much, but if you're high-level operations with experience in a financial services firm, give us a shout. It's an awesome opportunity, growing company, really cool. But those are your positions brought to you by Chief of Staff KC. Lucas, take us away, man.
All right, time to talk some shop, boys. This is a business podcast first. So Cody and Zeke, great to have you guys in the studio. You're both involved in a number of different things here in Kansas City. Could you both give us a brief background into what you're doing and then how you got here? And Cody, we'll start with you. Zeke, we'll roll to you second.
Sure, yeah. So I started in Kansas City. I got out of school, and I started actually with an alumni from my college. So it's kind of cool, working at Sandler Training. So that was mostly on the adult learning side, doing sales, business, leadership, management type coaching, training, development for companies. Shifting from that to CBA is what I'm up to now. Just started and founded that like 2 month and a half-ish ago with a couple of people, Gwen Gillette and then Luke Kasunik as well. Kind of all three of us coalesced. Our goal is to customize education. That's kind of the big, hairy, audacious, what we're up to, and being able to help people understand that comes very much within your brain, and attacking that from a neurological and a technological side is kind of what we are attacking at the current moment.
Cool.
Real quick before we go to Zeke, what does CBA stand for? Does it have an acronym?
Yeah, so CBA comes from, my favorite quote actually is, whatever the mind of man can conceive, see, and believe, it can achieve, which is the A.
Nice.
And so that's kind of the framework we use in what we work in. Like, our purpose is recreating the ability to imagine. Like, there is a war on imagination that we very much view ourselves as, here's a shield, here's the sword.
Yeah.
Education and skill development that's the sword, and the shield is understanding how powerful this thing is to deflect the crap that social media is like throwing at you right now.
Yeah.
And so being able to go through that process to conceive of a world where you can do that, believe you can get it, mental side, and achieve. How do you achieve something? Break down the skills and then act upon those. So
Awesome. Thank you. Zeke, what about yourself? What you're doing now and kind of how you got there?
Man, I just want to say, you guys can already see that Cody's a legend. I don't even know how I don't know where I'm gonna start after that. That's a high bar. Dang. So, but I'm excited to be here. Well, my background, I am originally from Nigeria. I came to the US in 2016, and I just had a vision to, inspire people, and I didn't really know how to do it because from a childhood age, I always loved public speaking, but I had a stuttering issue. But coming to the U.S. and being exposed to thousands of people for the first time kind of motivated me to be like, you know what, if I can be able to communicate with people that I don't know, I can be able to expand my reach. So fast forward 2018, I started the FiredUp podcast, which is basically I interview leaders from, entrepreneurs, politicians to business owners just to find their mindset about success and how they became successful. Because I think one thing that I wish I had as a kid is, seeing people on TV and actually getting to meet them and ask them, how did you get to where you are?
Yeah.
Because it's always easy to see them like, man, I want to be like that guy. But, the process is never that good. It's always hard. So just doing that podcast has really, kind of branched me out. Through that, I met, I met Cody as well. And it's just been awesome, man. So far, I have just been on a low with COVID and everything going on, just kind of doing a reset, trying to come back with just the show and everything. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. I haven't been doing anything neuroscience-wise. I haven't been creating any companies lately. This guy found a company right here. So, but yeah, that's what I've been doing so far, and I'm excited to be here, and I can't wait. Let's get into it.
Awesome, Zeke. Thank you, man.
Love to hear it, man. Well, Cody, we'll go back to you real quick. So first off, congratulations on founding your own company. It's an amazing first step, and for someone to be as young as you are to really, kind of take that risk and have a great team behind you, and Gwen and Luke as well. I'm wishing all the best for you guys moving forward. It's a hell of a kind of a goal you guys got to tackle, but I can't wait to be with you every step of the way. So you kind of give us a rundown on what the company is, what your big, hairy, audacious goals are, and all that. But I guess. How did you come to the decision to go ahead and move on from Sandler into this, new opportunity? And I guess what kind of went into setting up a company from the ground up?
Sure. So the kind of the spur for the movement really became my background. What I studied is neuroscience, and I really love plasticity, memory, learning, all of those things, studying those in the brain, how it happens. Sandler's more for the adult world more. Especially as I was starting to leave, I had younger clients, but it was more for the adults.
Yeah.
And when you think of your brain and learning as an adult, like 27-ish to 30 is when it starts to become, if you think of your brain like a filing cabinet, around that age, that filing cabinet is full. And so to learn as an adult, it's possible, and your brain is plastic. So please, I will repeat that. Your brain is plastic your entire life. Never stops. However, it is harder to access that plasticity, that ability for it to change. And so they have to pull open the filing cabinet, pull out files, throw the files out, grab new files, put the files in, close the door. That's learning as an adult. For a kid, our filing cabinet, younger, 18, or from like third trimester in your mom till you're like 26, 27, 28, it's just you're throwing files in. Yeah. And so what I was starting to realize, where I was really starting to bang my head against the wall, is how hard that adult piece of what we were doing at Sandler, awesome content, amazing stuff, I loved it, but it was just harder in the adult world. And the ability to innovate in that world is a little bit harder too, just because without like the tech. There's so much tech that's available, but that's a learning curve as well. Learning curve, right? So they have to learn the tech and learn the content. So for younger people, which right now our target is 18, 26, their brains are more open. It's easier to learn. And how can we build their brains better and help them build their brains better so they have these skills, like things that they don't learn in school, like emotional regulation, how to reframe negative thoughts, like basic things like that, using their brain. And their brain is more open to learning, and it's more able to use technology to extrapolate upon that. Yeah. So we use games. Like that's our, like the tech side comes in a game, like building an app for ourselves, like to gamify what they're doing. And so the shift kind of happened when I was like, okay, I really love helping people, but the adult world is a little bit harder than I thought. Why not go to brains that are more open, can learn easier, and grow faster,
Yeah.
and build them better so in the future it's a better brain that they built. So that's kind of how that shift happened.
Nice.
Awesome. Zeke, what about you, man? So, how'd it go working with Cody? Because I heard that you had an internship, right? And what did you learn from your time at CBA?
I mean, I really want to add up to what he just said about, learning, because with COVID happening, it's like the first time, Gen Zs have ever experienced anything this bad.
Yeah.
So everyone is going to ask him the question of like, what now? What's next? What should I be doing? So I think your company is going to be like so huge because like me personally, I'm thinking, man, I need to learn more stuff because this is a time to reset. So everyone's like on a reset now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now after that reset, where are you going to go? So Cody is that answer the question. So that's pretty cool. I'm talking about an internship. It was awesome. Having Cody in an office. Cody's like it's a moving train with information, just energy, just going, and just being in that environment. Working with Luke, and Luke is an awesome marketer, just fantastic. Just seeing how ideas are played out on the wall, was just fantastic. Learning from that process and seeing how having a company that has so much energy, passion, just for knowledge and learning. It was just awesome. The content there, and just I think the most important thing for me is being able to understand how people work. When you see someone, you see them and you understand how they work, and you better communicate with them, which is the best thing. Communication is at the center of anything you do. So I think that's the key of what their company does, which is communication.
Mm-hmm.
How do you talk to a person you've never met before? How do you understand them just by meeting them the first time?
Right.
And I think that's important. So I think that's one big thing. When I see people, I just calm down and I listen and I try to understand who they are.
Yeah.
And man, if you can do that, you're ahead of your peers in that aspect. So yeah, that's one pretty cool thing I learned.
Yeah, well, I love to hear that, and it's cool to see the value of networking come into play too. Because I met you at one of the events that you were throwing for FiredUp through Maddie Carr, and then I met Cody. Honestly, I think Maddie Carr asked me to meet with you, and so I met with both of you, and then y'all got connected too. So it's just such a small world. We're all in the loop
awesome.
too.
Yeah, that's true.
It's great, man.
I will say
to
too, like Zeke has been hyping me up, but when I was at Sandler, he interned at Sandler, and then but having this dude Luke downloaded something in one day to him, and then Zeke was applying it like the next hour.
Yeah.
Like I was like, here's how you make a cold call. Here's how you do this, and then the next day he made like 50. Like it's and that's the most beautiful thing, my friend. And that's so not there. Is there's so much intentionality but not execution.
Yeah.
This man has execution, and action is how you learn.
Yeah,
literally,
maybe.
it moves your brain more. So action. This dude's got it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm emotional. Like, you guys have the napkins in here? Man, Cody, this is what you get with Cody. He makes you feel too good about yourself. You're like, man, I should just jump off. I can fly,
Yeah.
Man, just Cody, having a boss and a friend as Cody it's inspirational. Like, 'cause every day he tells you something that you never knew about yourself. You're like, wait a minute, I can actually do that. That's pretty cool. I've learned that today. So, man, I'm excited to be here.
Love it, man.
Just pumped.
Yeah,
Sure.
So Zeke, you hit me up the other day to join your Hire KC program and just kind of talk to, do a mock trial of your podcast. And so one, I want to talk about your FiredUp podcast. I know you mentioned kind of, why you started that and what you do with that. But to kind of run your own podcast at such a young age, you're still in school, and kind of how you came up with the idea behind that and how you taught yourself how to do that. And then second off, your new internship, is it with Hire KC, right?
No.
Are you doing a class with them? Okay,
yes,
I gotcha.
yes,
Can you kind of talk about that too?
Yeah, so just backtrack with FiredUp. It started more as more like a leadership / religious organization.
Okay.
In the end, just talking about purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got into that space, I came to understand that it has to do with the person. It's the person is the purpose. What you want to do has to do with it has to start with you, your why, right? And I think it was my friend. He was my vice president at that point. He said that we should start like a radio show kind of podcast. So
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, let's do it. So with the first day we were supposed to record, because I didn't want to learn how to do the board or anything. 'Cause I was like, I'm just gonna be a co-host and he's gonna host the thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't even learn anything. So that day I was like, I'm just gonna show up and then voice and stuff. I didn't know that day he would have a basketball training.
Oh,
and that's
no.
how I got there and he wasn't there. So I had to learn how to do the thing on the spot.
Wow.
So that's how I kind of started. So I called someone up and they helped me set up the board, and that was the first interview. And after that, I got really inspired to do more of it because just talking with people, like, you being on the, the internship with Arrowhead KC and just talking with you on that, I'll still get to that. But when you talk with people like this, you get motivated. When you see people with like mind, you're like, man, this is really awesome. I want to keep doing this. So that has been my mindset of saying, yo, young people have so much potential, but they don't hear people enough telling them you can get it done.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to say I can do this, and say someone telling you, yo, I believe that you can do it. So fast forward to the Arrowhead KC internship. Those were high school kids that you saw on the. I had high school kids interning for me, which it was like mind blowing.
Yeah.
And they were really interested in FiredUp KC and just learning about the podcast and the leadership part of it. What I invited you for was just a run of my podcast.
Yeah.
Having you on there, interviewing you, and having them see what happens.
Right.
And I think the most important thing for me while I was talking with you was just their reaction. They were like, man, this has been so motivational for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's why I started this. That's why I started a podcast, so people can look at it and be like, you know what? If this guy can do it, I can do it too, right?
That's
great.
If this guy from a whole different country that doesn't even speak English can come on here and interview the mayor of Kansas City,
Right.
what can I do? So it's just that mindset that got me like, yo, I got to get back into it because I haven't done any podcasts so far because of just trying to get my things all together.
Yeah. We're doing one right now.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
doing. This is my first
This
time
is true.
actually leaving my room and coming out to do a podcast. So again, you made me start thinking, yo, I gotta get back to this because having those short clips. I think the thing that got me with Scott Havens too is another like legend.
Yeah.
Scott Havens always comments on my LinkedIn 1 minute videos. So those 1 minute videos might not show a lot, but people watch it and be like, man, that's really awesome. That mindset. So. Not to take too much time. That's just the mindset of it. Just inspiring people to be like, yo, if that dude can do it, I can do it. If he can, I can. So why not?
I love it, man.
So,
I love
Excellent,
it.
man.
Yeah, and your story is motivational in and of itself, man. Like, right? I know it's just great.
It's just in addition to, right?
Yeah, that's why you guys have been such good friends over the past year. I don't know if we've even known each other a year, but like
Through the pandemic.
Yeah, all like every time I sit down with you guys, I'm just freaking pumped up every time I talk to you. So I love it. Cody, one last question for you on the business side of things, and then we'll kind of move into the football stuff. But so we discussed this numerous times now. In terms of kind of using neuroscience to kind of diagnose your own feelings and using it on a daily basis to, especially with the rise of mental health issues in our generations, kind of using neuroscience to your advantage to kind of understand your feelings and I guess isolating them and kind of talking yourself down or pumping yourself up or whatever. But can you kind of give the folks, we again have had this conversation multiple times, but can you kind of talk them through, I guess, some tips or advice to use neuroscience to your advantage on a daily basis?
Yes. So simple.
Yeah.
2 things. The 5 things your brain does and the 3 questions it asks. You can use this like every single day. So the 5 things are, it senses things. So you're taking in tons of senses all the time. Like sights, smells, tastes, like feelings, all that stuff. So it senses things. It perceives things. So your perception is like a spotlight for your senses. Like if you're sitting at home right now, until I say, do you feel your socks in your feet right now? Do you feel your shirt on your body?
Right.
Can you feel your hat squeezing your head right now?
Yeah.
You couldn't until I said something
Right.
because your perception highlighted it as a spotlight. That's a sense. It's always there, but your brain isn't always conscious of that. So sense, perception, and then the last 3 are the most important and most actionable: feelings, thoughts, actions.
Yeah.
And so the first 2 derive feelings, thoughts, and actions. And so if you can start to understand and pull yourself out of an emotional response, oh, I'm pissed off, right? Okay, so what got you there? What is it? Something you're thinking that made you feel a certain way?
Right.
Is it something you're feeling that's making that self-talk? What you're thinking change? Like I'm angry or I'm sad. I'm not. Then the thinking is I'm not good enough. I'll never be good enough.
Jerry.
That's for someone else, right? Anger is mine, and so naming that is another tip, kind of in this. But name those emotions. Emerson mentioned mine. So my negative self, like the negative talk, like someone cuts me off, I'm like, what the hell, man? Right now, I'm like, Jerry, shut up, dude. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I've named that Jerry, right? To make it more real to me, externalize it on something else. And then your actions. The 5th thing your brain does is action.
Yeah.
So senses, perceptions, feelings, thoughts, and actions. And the last 3, again, feelings and thoughts. A lot of people get stuck in that. We were just talking about this, right? They feel and they think, they feel and they think, they feel and they think, and it's this loop. It's this loop. And they want to, motivation is one, right? They're waiting to feel motivated to act, but action creates motivation.
Right.
And so action is the most important piece, because if you get to the action, right, and you do something, then your thinking changes, which changes your feelings, which changes your perception, right? And all of a sudden, your mental state's changed. You're in a whole different place. You're energized. You're ready to go. It's that action piece that's so important.
Yeah.
So feelings, thoughts, actions are really the most important. And then the other three are the questions your brain's asking. So it's duration, path, and outcome. How long is this going to last? What's the path? And what's the outcome?
Yeah.
So how long is this pandemic going to last? What's the path to get out of this?
Right.
And like what's going to happen because of this? Right? Your brain is always asking those questions. Duration, path, out. How long is this podcast going to be? How long is Cody going to speak for? Right? That's duration, path. Where's he going with this? What's going on? What am I going to do after this? Outcome. What am I going to learn from him speaking? What am I? Right?
Sure.
Duration, path, outcome. Right? And if you pair those two things together, you're a scientist. That's what I love about neuroscience. You can test hypothesis all day. Go out. If it's a feeling, a thought, or an action, you are a scientist now. You don't need a lab coat. You have a brain. You are a scientist. Go try. Act. Go act. Go take action. So
I love it, man.
Being proactive versus reactive, right?
boom.
Absolutely love it. Now we're going to do some quick hitters that we do with every guest. Recent first down for each of you, which is a small success that maybe led to more success down the road. We'll do a sack, which could be a setback or a small failure that you had to overcome or a hurdle. And then a Hail Mary, a lofty goal that you have in mind for this year, maybe coming out of the pandemic or something that you have set for next year. We'll start in sequential order. We'll go with you, Cody.
I was going to say, I was just talking. Zeke should go first. Can you give them one more to me?
Yes, so start with the first down, and then we'll come right to you next. It's going to be a small success that led to sequential success.
Yeah, this one actually for me goes back to college. Honestly, I had in the grand scheme at the moment, like the success within like my fraternity was a small success, like huge to me at the moment, small in comparison to life. However, that success is what got Steve's attention, that got me my first job actually.
Nice.
So that small success kind of set me on this path, and a lot of the leadership things I did at that time, that's where I'm at today. So I would say that would be a small one. Sack.
Yeah. Recent setback.
I would say a recent setback would be, I know what this is. The hardest thing that I have is I am in the clouds so much. Like I've got this giant 50-year vision in my head, and the most recent setback has been not being able to clearly articulate like the present what. Like what Grant Gooding hit me with this so hard. Love you, man. But he was just talking about like, you're trying to talk about Apple, the 2020 version of Apple in 1940. I'm like, you're so right. So that's been a setback because it's been harder. Like, who do we go after for clients? I'm confusing with referral partners. Like that to me has kind of been, and it confuses our team. So the internal culture has been a little bit messed up too. And that to me is kind of a sack as someone who's supposed to multiply the people times the vision to get capital. Like I messed that up a little bit. So readjusting.
Gotcha.
Hail Mary, Patrick Mahomes style, some lofty goal that you have moving forward.
I would say lofty goal, $1 million in revenue by the end of January 2021.
Love it.
Lofty goal, publicly announced.
You heard it here first.
We'll hold him to it.
Another breaker here. Excellent. Well, Zeke, we'll start with you with first down.
I would say first would be me being able to overcome stuttering as an issue.
Sure.
Because I always loved public speaking as a young person. I had imaginations of me standing in front of crowds, but I couldn't ever do it because I couldn't get the words out. But once I was able to learn how, stuttering works with your mind and why it happens, and seeing one of my friends be, I think he was a campus ambassador, he was giving tours. I was like, I want to do that because that would give me a step to speak with more people.
Sure.
And this was back in 2016. This was when I just came here. My English was not that bad, not that good. So I said, I'm going to do that. So when I did that, I applied and I got the job. It pushed me to speak to people forcefully. Now I can be able to speak fluently when I communicate with I don't have that tension anymore. So I think that really put me in a spot where I'm like, okay, if I can do this, then I can expand more, which gave me the mindset, you know what? It's not really the problem, it's the person, right? It's what can you do about what you're into right now? And that has been my path, which is when I'm in a situation, I'm thinking, there's a problem, but it's not a real problem. It's the person who is in it. What am I going to do to get out of it? So I think that was a foundation for me. And then fast forward to starting FiredUp KC. And once I got to talk with the chancellor, talk with the mayor, that changed my whole mindset of what I can be able to achieve. So
You're killing it now. Your English is great. So,
Thank you. I'm trying.
What's a sack? A small setback lately.
I think with the pandemic, it was definitely a sack for me. Definitely. It was
A
definitely
20-yard sack.
It sent me back a lot.
Maybe
man.
a safety.
I'm still trying to recover from it. Like it sent me back a lot.
Yeah.
Sure.
It really, because the pandemic, it really set me back a lot. At the start of it, things were good, and then middle, I was like, okay, this is too bad. But now I'm getting back to normal. That would be definitely a big sack for me. Yeah.
Okay, and then lofty goal, a little Hail Mary action for you.
My Hail Mary action would be to become a good trader. I trade stocks now, so
Good.
I want to become like the best trader I can be to earn more on that. And
You in Bitcoin?
no, not Bitcoin. Not Bitcoin.
Don't even get me started.
No, not Bitcoin. No,
Let's not go down that road.
not Bitcoin. I just trade stocks. And I think another thing would be to get a job after my graduation in spring. That would be a big too for me to get a job after spring, May graduation.
Anyone
That'd be
out
good.
there in the business community watching this, Cody, if you don't snag him for
we're
yourself.
hiring.
Yeah. Zeke is seriously one of the best
Catch
young
me up.
people that I know. Couldn't recommend him more. So if you're looking for a new hire coming up in the spring, he's your guy.
Hit me up at ZIKNGA.
There we go,
But
baby.
that's my shout out.
All right, boys. Well, it's time to chop it up. I know
Yep.
we got a lot of
go.
business talking there. We're gonna have to
Let's
go
go.
pretty quick with this, but yeah, we just want to kind of quickly cover the Broncos game, preview the Jets game, and then we'll get out of here in our close to 30-minute window as possible. But yeah, appreciate all that, boys. So obviously the Chiefs are coming off a huge win against the Broncos in
Dominant.
Denver. As tradition in this podcast, we give our guests the first take. So whoever wants to start, time's yours.
But I think you can go. So I can build off. I just build off him because he says too much good stuff. I just build off of him.
I thought anytime you put your second string in, like that's a great time.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And getting to see different guys. What was the,
Chad Henne.
Yes,
Yeah.
Henne. I love it. Seeing him get the score. I would say that was a pretty big highlight for that game for me at least.
Nice, big snow game guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got that shirt.
Yeah.
Honestly, going into that game, I was a little bit nervous because of our loss from Raiders.
Yeah.
Because Raiders, I was like, how do we even lose to Raiders? They haven't had a good season so far.
Right.
So I was also scared that Broncos that haven't had a good season so far might beat
Right.
us as well.
Yeah.
Sure.
But then when the game started, I was like, okay, this is just a joke. Like,
Oh, I know.
they should stop. They should just quit.
They
Cause
pretty much did.
Because they got, because once the second quarterback came in and scored, I was like, okay, guys, let's just, you know what, let's wrap this up. I think you guys are tired. So, yeah, huge win, and I got my Chiefs shirt.
There you go,
There
baby.
we go.
Let's go,
baby.
let's go. So yeah,
Yeah, I agree with both your takes. I love it. It was extremely dominant fashion. We scored in all three phases. You know, we were
In the
talking
first
about
half, man.
and exactly.
Yeah.
So we went into halftime, and I didn't feel nervous at all. I mean, I knew it was going to be done and over with after that. I think the Broncos fans, they even had this social media rap hype song going around that was just atrocious,
Yeah.
absolutely garbage. I respect them putting it together, but they said that they were going to dominate us. Look what happened.
my
Maybe
bad.
maybe a little bit of karma. I don't know. So we scored in all three phases. Dirty Dan Sorensen looked phenomenal. He was laying the wood.
Second week in a row.
Took
finally,
Philip
yeah.
Lindsay out of the game. I hope he's all right. You never want to see anyone get hurt, but that was kind of just the mentality for the defense throughout the entire day. Byron Pringle, ran a kickoff return all the way back. That was exciting. Hopefully, it gets a sponsorship by Pringles or something. That
Yeah.
would make sense.
AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Yeah.
Yes, very
Shout
true.
out.
The Broncos just looked pitiful. I mean, it's the 10th time we've beat them in a row.
That's
Four
bad.
four wins have been by 20 or
That's
more
bad.
points.
Yeah.
I mean,
bad.
it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Can I just say this though?
Yeah, let's hear it.
That game, they were just giving us balls all the way.
I know.
I was like, well, what is this? Like, you guys just handing us balls. It was just ridiculous. I was like, this is just easy. They just
Yeah.
keep giving us balls to just go do touchdowns.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the botched flea flicker.
Yeah, I know, that
Where he
was
just
so
threw it on the
bad.
ground. I'm like,
So
oh,
bad.
come on, that's laughable.
Yeah. And again, I think it showed a sign of Mahomes' maturity. He realized he didn't have to push. He only had 200 yards and a touchdown.
That's
but
scary.
He didn't have to take any risks. Like, if we're going to beat you without Mahomes, the best weapon in the league, we're going to beat a lot of teams. So,
Yep.
yeah, we didn't have too many injuries. Alex Okafor moved to the IR. Schwartz didn't play. Hopefully he's back with Watkins coming up soon. But, yeah, we're going to skip fantasy this week just in time restrictions. But let's get into our Week 8 preview against the winless New York Jets. So if we thought this was a bad beatdown against the Broncos, we're 20.5-point favorites against the Jets here at home, which is so it opened at 19.5 and it moved up, and it's like already in the top 5 biggest spreads of NFL history. So I think the public will probably be on us to cover that. I don't know.
First the worst.
We'll see. But yeah, so what are your guys' thoughts on this Jets game coming up?
Are the Jets still in the league, really? That's my question.
Hey, Trevor Lawrence is calling it
Hey,
in.
Not mentally. They're
I'm
not
sorry.
there. They need some help from your neuroscience.
Yeah,
You need to go call them up.
they
That's a
need
client.
to call you. 'Cause I'm sorry,
Yeah.
because I look at the
Gary V.
I look at the ranks. I'm like, why they keep playing? They should just stop coming out. You know, sell your jerseys and buy something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
But that game, yeah, it's gonna be horrible. It's gonna be bad for them. It's really gonna be bad for them because unless Mahomes, you know what? Let's see what happens. But it's definitely gonna be a win for us.
Yeah.
Definitely,
I
definitely
agree.
beat down.
I like it. I think we talked earlier too. Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Revenge
revenge
game.
game,
Yes.
chip on the shoulder, lace in some of that neuro, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Google did a research on this actually, and the number one predictor of success within Google was having a chip on your shoulder. So
Sure.
I'm kind of pumped up to see what he does too.
Yeah.
That goes right into the keys to victory for this week. Honestly, the first one is don't overlook the opponent. This is the NFL still.
Any
There's
given Sunday.
a lot of parity.
Yeah.
Could it be a potential trap game? So as long as we continue, which goes into my second point, being ourselves and operating to the peak efficiency that we know we can in all 3 facets, just do not overlook it and go into it as we always do. We'll be just fine. And lastly, give Bell the ball.
Yeah.
Revenge game. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be an exciting look. He's going to get more touches. I think he goes off. Maybe they give him more touches than Clyde just for the sake of
I
going
honestly
against
think
his
they
old team.
will because one, I think we'll come out to an early lead and we'll have the game wrapped up. We're gonna possess the ball and we're gonna want to test him out in the offense and give him as many looks as possible. He's got 1 week under him where they only did the Zoom package with him, but he's consistently getting more and more familiar with the playbook. So I think we'll let him loose a little bit.
Any top players of the week that you guys kind of see going off, whether it's on
Who are
offense
who
or
are
defense?
your favorite guys to watch?
Do you guys have preferences there?
I mean, Edward Hilaire.
Yeah.
That dude is just
Beast, isn't he?
ridiculous.
You couldn't
man.
tackle
He
him.
just like
Clyde
he just
Glide.
keeps going. So
He's a pinball.
That's my guy. Anytime
Love
you guys,
it.
I'm like, yeah, just go, man. Just go do whatever you do, man. So that's my guy I watch
Awesome.
every single week. So
Clyde
yeah.
the Glide, baby.
My favorite, I think, for this week is going to be Bell for sure, just because I think he'll get more plays, like you guys just said, and he's got that chip. So I'm pumped up to see what he does. I think that'll be a big time.
Just like the tag team duo you guys are, you picked the tag team duo running
Yeah.
backs. Absolutely love it.
Oh, yeah.
That's
What
phenomenal.
about you?
I'm going to go defensive side of the ball. I think Tyrann Mathieu continues to step up. He's going to eat. I mean, he's too smart, right?
Honey
And
Badger.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
And he's got an awesome story as well, coming back from some past troubles. And so to see him continue to do what he does and be a vocal leader on our team, I'm excited to see him perform.
Someone I've been loving watching this year has been Anthony Wharton out of Missouri S&T, coming from a very, very small Missouri school. He was a late-round draft pick, kind of a flyer guy. We knew he'd be a project, but he stepped in Nadi's absence and a couple of the other injuries on the front line, and he's been tearing it up. Like
He knocked the ball out.
Yeah, exactly.
last
Forced
week.
a fumble. I mean, I think he might be another diamond in the rough. Shout out Brett Veach. Every freaking weekend we're talking about something brilliant that guy does. So, he's been a great player to watch. So check him out on the defensive line. Lastly, guys, we're going to move into score predictions before we wrap up here. What are you guys thinking for this Jets game? You think it's going to be a blowout? You think what do you guys got?
I think blowout, and because I don't know football extraordinarily well, my favorite number is 51. So Chiefs 51
Love it.
and 13 because I think they'll miss an extra point
right.
on the Jets side.
I love it. Zeke, what about you, man?
You know,
Or
I
two
wanna
field goals.
I wanna go 40-13. 40-13.
I like it.
Chiefs 40,
Yeah.
Jets 13. I
Uh-huh.
like that. I like that 13. Sounds good. 13 sounds good.
Yeah.
It's a fair game.
We're going to go 38-14. They get a couple garbage time touchdowns, but
Okay.
that's my
I
deal.
feel you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go, let's go 41-16. Yeah, I kind of like that score. So we'll see how it goes. Lucas, you're +8 last week, 112 overall. I was +13 last week, 134 overall. Again, really good at this. And our guest, BJ, was +15 last week, 108 overall. So the guest still got a commanding lead. Yeah. I got some room to make up.
Hey,
I
I'm
don't think.
only 4 behind.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna come back, but
We got to get a bet for him still. So
So that does it for week 8 of Talkin' Chop. Boys, thank you so much for being here. I had an awesome conversation.
Love it.
And,
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. And if you guys need some young leaders to talk to network with, hit hit up these two. They're the best. So whether you're listening on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple, subscribe to us all year long. We're going to be bringing in some of Kansas City's top execs and personalities like these two boys right here. And we got a lot of cool guests coming up as well. So, boys, again, thank you so much for sitting down and making some time to be with us today. We'll catch you all next week. And as always,
Go Chiefs.